Happy Friday, baby. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and the sun is out. It's going to be a gorgeous day here in the Valley of the Sun. You know, it's been nice, been cool, and I guess cool for Arizona, and it's just a lot of fun because everyone breaks out the jeans or the pants, the sweaters, the sweatshirts, and I was telling my wife the other day, I'm going, man, I need one of those ugly sweaters. I think I could rock one of those out, and the weather's just perfect for that. The ugly Christmas sweater. 800-951-0592. That is the toll-free number if you've never called it. I know you want to. Today may be the day to get that done, and I'll tell you why. Throughout the rest of the program, allamericangold.com. That is the website. We update that every day. Well, not every day. Monday through Friday. News, videos, articles, all these great things. You can get the podcast. There's so many links. There's a link to 1360, the radio station that we own up there in Johnstown, Colorado. By the way, go out to the 1360 website. We have a new blog section. 1360, we are starting to produce our own articles. And we've gotten a team of journalists, and when I mean a team of journalists that are writing for us. So make sure you check that out. Listen, and we're just getting started with it pretty soon here. I think by the first quarter of 2021, we're going to have at least probably half a dozen articles a week, if not more than that, on the 1360 blog as we continue to grow and develop. 1360 is going to be adding video. We'll be doing a video streaming. That is coming. We're already doing a little bit of it here and there, but we're going to be doing a lot more of that coming into 2021. I know I've been teasing the CBD. Man, I'll just tell you, I've been using it, and it's fantastic. I know a lot of you have been asking about it. We're allegedly at the final underwriting process. There's a lot of hoops to jump through to get into that, but we're almost there. They're telling us any day now. Then once we have it, I'll have it all up there. And of course, yesterday I told you metals programs, get ready. Right, we're gonna start. We're gonna start sending them out the week of New Year's. Just to remind everybody. Next week, we're closed Thursday and Friday. The following week, because it'll be New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, we'll be closed Thursday, Friday. But the week after Christmas, those 3 days, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start doing some of the metals programs. The rest of the metals programs will be out, I'm going to say January 10th, and hope we do better than that. So by that time, everybody's metals plans will be out. I mean, it's crazy. I lose track of it because the girls are the ones that they take all the information, put it all down there, and then I don't really see it until the spreadsheet comes out. And, of course, now the spreadsheet, I mean, we had to buy more ink cartridges because I knew the spreadsheet was coming. To get that done. It's a great program. It's a great way, especially for you that maybe you don't have the bigger dollars. But here's what we're finding. What we're finding is a lot of bigger dollars coming into the program. People aren't messing around. They understand what's happening. Yesterday, the dollar broke down. I've been telling you this was going to happen, and it finally did. We're back into the 80s on the dollar index. So some of you out there, well, I don't know what that means. It just means the dollar is getting weaker because the perceived value of it continues to get weaker, and especially with stimulus. I got a big update on stimulus. And I'm going to tell you that there is going to be some sort of a last-second deal here because, as I've told you, the government has been operating on what they're calling emergency funding. They have not produced a budget for 2021, which started October the 1st. What they've been doing is just, every few weeks passing a bill saying, okay, well, we'll let the government go a few more weeks, let it go a few more weeks, let it go for a few more weeks. At the end of day today, the government runs out, and everyone's kind of decided that they're not going to fund the government without this relief bill, which kind of says, okay, if you're going to hold to that, that means you got to get it done, right? That means you got to get it done. And Senate Majority Mitch McConnell was out this morning saying that he's even more optimistic now than he was last night that a deal is going to get done. It has to get done. Either that or they got to pass another one of these things. But they're saying to keep the government running. They're saying they're not going to do that. So if that's the case, you're going to see, again, more dollar weakness. I think you're going to see gold and silver react pretty strongly if the markets are open and the deals at hand. Right now, gold and silver are hanging out. The Dow is down because they're waiting for them to get a deal done. But just remember, this is the small deal. This is the deal somewhere around $1 trillion, just under $1 trillion. They're all waiting for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Getting some gold and silver put away before we shut the doors on Wednesdays is going to be a good idea. We're going to get a bill. I mean, I think the worst case scenario for more stimulus is they have to pass a temporary, and they'll do like a 3-day, 2-day, 5-day extension, because without a budget, America would essentially default because they have to roll, hundreds of billions of dollars almost every day. They've got to roll it over. So the Treasury, if they don't have the money, they can't do it. So they do the wink, wink, nod, nod. And like I said, once they pass this budget, pass the stimulus, you're going to see a big jump in the debt, right? So right now, if you're looking at debt clocks, it's like $27.5 trillion. Well, the realities are it's 29, 30 trillion already. We just don't know it because of no budget being passed. And so they take all these emergency measures. They're not putting money into into Social Security out of your paychecks. They're not funding the disabilities. All this, basically, they're hoarding as much money as possible. And then they'll make some journal. Not that they have any money anyway, right? It's just journal entries. But neither here nor there. They're promising not to leave for Christmas until it's done. Now, one of the things that is once they've agreed, it's still going to take several days to write it. And then they've got to sign it, right? And vote on it, do the voting thing and all that. So realistically, the way I'm looking at this, they've really got to get something done today so they can get it written over the weekend and do the voting and be able to go home on Tuesday. So that's just kind of my spin on it. So I think we're going to see a deal get done one way or the other. And again, this is the smaller of the stimulus bills. A lot of back and forth, too. And I'm watching this thing evolve. They still want to give. They're still talking about PPP for small business. And I've got an update on that. It's just terrible what they've done. When you think about, I'll use Olive Garden today, Darden Restaurants. They came out and said sales are down 21%. And then they said fourth quarter sales are going to be down 33%. And, think about a business and being able to survive with revenues falling by a third, right? And Darden has they got a lot more money. They go to the debt markets, borrow, and you got to spend all this money on the COVID protocols and all of those things. Imagine a small business guy. He doesn't have access to Wall Street money, right? And all of a sudden, business down 33%. You're out of business. You're out of business. And they've almost set it up to where they know, Darden's going to survive, right? Walmart's going to be fine. All the airlines, by the way, the airlines are going to get another $17 billion. They're going to be fine. It's the small business guys that are going to end up taking it right on the chin. And this next $300 billion, it sounds great, but the fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. The last time they did this, they just gave it all to all the bigger guys that were eligible, right? And you heard story after story about who got it, and again, I will put this out there. When it passes, if you were a small business and the bank you were dealing with is ignoring you, call us here. I'll give you the number to the bank that I used. It's a small bank in West Virginia. Listen, they get it done. So I just want to throw that out there to those of you that are struggling. If your bank does what they did the last time, call me, and I'll get you a bank that'll get it done for you. And you can just call the 800 number when they do that. Yesterday, we talked a lot about Bitcoin. And really, I'll reiterate, when I say Bitcoin, all of the digital currencies. And one of the great things that's going to happen, it's going to allow me to provide better details for you. Starting the first week of January, Liberty Revolt is moving to the early morning, Monday through Friday on KHNC from 5 to 7 a.m., Dylan, who is the guy that does Liberty Revolt, he spent a lot of time in China. Well, I don't know about a lot, but a lot more time in China than most Americans have ever done or ever will do. He is married to a Chinese gal. They met in college. Blah blah blah. What is happening over there would be beyond a lot of our abilities to understand, and it really is going to allow everybody to get a better understanding of what's coming, because China's already doing it. This is the problem. We don't realize it. Even when I tell you, listen, China is enemy number one. Right? And I'm telling you right now, they don't get it. Nobody in the news media, outside of a few, really understand what's at stake. I talk about the dollar breaking down. Right? I'm sitting there saying, listen, the dollar's going to be in the low 80s, I hope. Fingers crossed. Here's the problem. And I don't mean to yell at you a little bit, but I want you to frickin' get it through your thick skulls. You're being manipulated and lied to. Think about what I said to you last week about the banks. Every single day, they're borrowing over $2 trillion to pay for your mortgage payments, to pay for your Christmas presents, to pay for your credit card bills and your auto loans and your health insurance. They don't have the money. They don't. And I know a lot of you out there, oh, no, Double's exaggerating. No, I'm not. It's the truth. But they don't say it on Fox and Friends. I've been listening to Fox and Friends, and they're not saying it to me. Jim Cramer on CNBC doesn't say it. But it's true. It's true. And here's the sad part. It's growing. I don't know how often we're going to be able to find the information, because where we found the information was a little government agency that writes a report once a year. that told everybody, oh, by the way, I know the central bank started saying that their open market committee funding was zero. It didn't go away, right? They just moved off because they don't want to tell you. Because would you really keep putting money in a bank that you knew didn't have the money? And again, they have debt. They have debt. And of course, I say, well, just sell some debt. You know, when you take the 10 largest banks where the 90-some% of the deposits are in this country, and let's just say $2 trillion. Okay, well, that's about $200 billion apiece. It's not that much. Especially when we know they all got, 40, 50 plus trillion dollars of derivatives, but they would all have to sell. And the realities are nobody would pay anywhere near what they claim these loans are worth. And so this is why this is happening. This is why they stopped telling us about it. And of course, we start thinking about Bitcoin. Right? And we start thinking about digital payments. I told you yesterday, I just learned this. I had no idea. In China, if you don't have your phone, you can't do business. Right? It's not like we get upset. Oh, I don't have my phone. I can't check my text messages or I got to see what's going on Facebook. I got to keep up with the Kardashians. That's how stuff gets done in China. Everything. You don't get on the freaking subway without your phone, right? And it is very, very interesting as we watch all of this stuff play out. Because what I told you about Bitcoin only, okay, they really, really can't allow it to compete with a dollar. They can't. Because why would we want to take the dollar? Right? Jamie Dimon, well, I wouldn't touch a treasury with a 10-foot pole. Something is in the works, and we know what's in the works. We're going to a digital currency. And when that happens, it's going to be very, very interesting. And in a lot of states, we got onto this, and we haven't heard this much about it with the Trump administration. We're going to hear a lot more again with the Biden administration. This time, we know about Texas, Arizona. Today, South Carolina is getting ready to pass 3 bills in the South Carolina House that's going to cut taxes on precious metals and take important steps towards treating gold and silver as money instead of commodities. And this is what I said, and I've said this all along. Let everything compete, right? It's not that hard. We could have whatever we want be money. You could have gold and silver be money. You could have this digital money, right? You could have a Federal Reserve note if you like. You could have whale's teeth, right? Whatever you determine to be money. And everybody would be able to do it, right? Competition. When we talk about freedom and liberty and prosperity and one of the competition, right? One of the things we've seen is as our fake and phony money system becomes more evident. What have you realized? Mega companies, they've taken over. And now these mega companies, anytime someone may take a little bit of a threat to Apple or Google or Microsoft or Amazon, what do? They just buy them up. Here's $1 billion. Here's $5 billion. Here's $10 billion. They buy out all the competition. Remember the independent grocers? They're all gone. The little mom and pop grocery store's gone. Right? We've got less and less places to shop and look at it. Things are closing like crazy. right? And now the government is telling you how you can run a business. Now I'm hearing 1 in 5 small businesses throughout the country, 1 in 5, is saying that the revenue is 50% or more down since the onset of COVID. So in other words, 1 in 5 small businesses are saying, listen, my revenue's down 50% plus. I mean, do the math. You're out of business. Right? 20% of all small businesses go under, 30% of all small and listen, a lot of small businesses, forget about 50%. Hey, I'm out at 20%. I'm out at 30%. And now South Carolina's like, hey, wait a minute. They're talking about not only getting rid of, Arizona did this already, right? They're getting rid of any capital gains tax, right? At the state level. You can't do it at the federal level, but they're getting rid of all of those capital gains taxes. They want to set it up, at least in South Carolina, where you can pay your taxes in gold and silver as well. Talking about making gold and silver coins legal tender in the state. House Bill 3377, if you want to look it up. Patriot Radio News Hour, halftime on a Friday.
No, sir.
800-951-0592. Today, I've got 2 items we're going to run. One is a continuation from yesterday. We ran those BUP dollars at $630 a roll, and we sold a ton of them because we had over 100 rolls available. I've got 27 of those rolls left. That's it. That's all there is. And like I told you yesterday, so a roll of Silver Eagles is $630. A roll of BUP dollars is $630. In the 17 years plus, getting ready to hit 18 years that I've been doing this, only once was a BUP dollar worth the same as a Silver Eagle. And that was the day silver hit $50. Of course, the next 3 days, silver fell lock limit, right, down $5, down $5, down $5, right, fell $15 in 72 hours, and that was the last time. And I guarantee you this time it won't be, because I think silver, once silver breaks 30, and it's at 26 right now, once silver breaks 30, it's going to 50 again. And I actually think this time it goes beyond. But I think the BU piece and BU Morgan dollars are going to just be off the charts. I have 27 rolls of those remaining. And here's the great part. You think about it. The peace dollar started in 1922. So here we are in getting ready to be 2021. So a lot of these coins are going to be 99, 98, 97 years old, and they're going to look almost brand new. I mean, it's really amazing. These things are sharp, awesome looking at 630. Then I've got 100 rolls. So I only got 27 rolls of those. I've got 100 rolls of circulated half dollars. Okay. And these are the pre-1965, 64 and older silver half dollars. And they're not, they don't look brand new. I mean, you've seen them. You know what they look like at $210. So you got 2 different options in the silver market. The high end, if you will, the BUP dollar at $630. And then if you're looking at price per ounce, the half dollars at $210. That's like $3 and change over spot at 800-951-0592. We actually had a couple people call, right? They're getting a little nervous about, is my buddy okay? And I bank here or I bank there. Listen, don't panic. Don't panic. Is your money safe? Well, first of all, you got to understand it's not your money. I know we like to think that it's our money. It's not. When you put the money in the bank holds the money. I mean, it's just that simple. And at that point, is it safe? Listen, you understand that we have a fiat system, right? You understand that the national debt's what, 30 trillion at least. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet. I can't tell you how big it is because I don't know. Here's what I know. They'll own up to what? Right now, I think they're owning up to 7.3 trillion. But then we found out that's really not true. That's not all of it. I know that as of September 30th of 2020 or September 31st, whatever day it was, the last day of September, I can't remember that little song. The last day of September, they lent the banks $2.5 trillion that day because they can't afford the banks to sell the debt because then they would have to mark down. Right, we're setting aside money, for the COVID. Think about it. One in three small businesses are done. They're done. Look at what's happening in retail meccas: New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, L.A., Seattle. Prices are dropping like rocks. Right? They can't revalue that debt because no one owns anything anymore, right? All you do is refinance everything. Look at the refinancing boom, right? All of these people, right? Maybe they had paid for 3, 4, 5 years on their mortgage. I'm refinancing for another 30 years and I've lowered my payment, right? But they don't own anything. It's going to be, fingers crossed, orderly. Here's what's happening to the money that's in your bank account. You see it in your stock market. A lot of you out there, hey, the stock market's been great for me. Awesome. But you also know stove's getting hot. And for whatever reason, we just have this propensity to keep wanting to touch the hot stove, right? Can't help it, right? Because it's just going to keep going up forever, and we know it won't. But the purchasing power of the money that's in your bank account is collapsing. Just is. And when you look at this next wave of dollar weakness, right, which I've been all over it, right? I've been telling you exactly what's going to happen, right? We've got all of this debt that they've never allowed to reset. So now we got these idiotic numbers. They're insane. You can't pay it. And so there's going to be this massive devaluation coming, this big reset coming. And when that happens, that's when the digital currency comes. And I want it to be orderly, right? Is your money safe in the bank? For now, right? I told you about the FDIC. There's no FDIC insurance. Grow up. Right? You're just being misled. Because what else can they do? They can't tell you the truth. Because if J.P. Morgan or B of A or Wells Fargo, if any of them go under, they all go under. They don't have, $10 trillion. Patriot Radio News Hour. Get some of that silver while you can. 800-951-0592. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. The BUP Stallers. what a great deal. I mean, we've run a lot of them, especially this week. But this one is fantastic. Fantastic. At $630. Or I'll put it this way. I put one away for myself. That's how good of a deal it is. And you know me, I only buy the best of the best when it's out there. And usually because my wife is harassing me. She's worse than I am, which is saying something. But 800-951-0592. And then on the economical side, the roll's a $50 at $210 a roll. Just another great opportunity. Mitch McConnell continuing now to say a deal is imminent. We'll see. It has to happen. But I think it'll happen either later today or maybe tomorrow, but it's going to take a couple of days to write it. And I know that they all want to leave town by Tuesday. So once they get it written, then it's got to get passed, blah, blah, blah. So that's just what I think is going to happen with Congress, because they're saying that they won't go home without a deal. That's what they're saying. And so that's usually the only way we can ever get a deal. And it's horrible. But we're talking about banks and your money. And what does it all mean? You know, if you just follow the charts, forget about everything else. Just here's what the last 50 years of the dollar has been. We should see a dollar finish, I think its life, in the low 60s to the 50s, and I think it'll be gone. Are the banks going to go under? I think this is what a lot of people remember Lehman Brothers. Right? Now, remember, Lehman Brothers wasn't even a bank, and yet it was still going to take the banks down. Right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to just be a bank. Any large, hedge fund or this fund, that fund, they all buy debt. And understand your stocks, your money markets, your IRAs, your annuities, your mutual funds. And I love it. And I know all the mutual fund guys, they're fine. I love mutual funds as long as they're solvent. And they're not guaranteed like they say they are. They're guaranteed they have to pay as long as they're solvent. That's the guarantee. God, really is no guarantee at all. But nonetheless, they're all tied together. So I don't think the central bank will make the same mistake twice. But here's the problem. They have to have the illusion that the debt is always worth more. Right? And already it's not. It's not worth what you're paying. How do you know this, Double? How do you know? And the answer is very simple. It's super easy. I know because the banks won't sell any. If they weren't allowed to get free money from the central bank, what would they do? Send you a letter. Oh, sorry, we bounced your mortgage check because we didn't have enough money today. No. They would raise cash. Here's the sick part. You know what's sick? They're still allowing banks to pay some dividends. Now they're monitoring, right? Hey, we're going to let you pay some, but not we're going to minimize it, right? And stock options and all that crap. They can still do it. Now they gotta, they can't do it the way they used to. They shouldn't be able to do it at all. They don't have any money. If you have to borrow from the central bank every day, shouldn't be allowed to. But see, they don't want to say that because then you would know, right? You would know. Oh, wait a minute. Bank of America can't have stock buybacks, or those are already banned, right? No banks are allowed. They're not even allowed to buy back their own stock right now. Why do you think that is? But they're going to keep the game going. The problem is the end game. When it finally ends, they need the debt to reset to something that's manageable. And that's where the haircut comes. And what they're going to say is, well, this digital dollar is going to save us. That's going to be the answer. I mean, think about it. They don't even pay you anything to have a savings account. Go to your bank and buy a CD, right? They probably would even tell you, yeah, don't buy that. Don't pay you anything. You know, at least in the past, for loaning them your money, which is what you do when you put your money in the bank, at least they paid you some interest for it. No, they don't even do that. So my hope is somehow it all holds together. But the problem is it only takes one mistake. And here's the thing, because it's global now, we don't even have to make the mistake. Europe could make it. Listen, the largest banks in Europe, the 3, 4, 5 largest banks in Europe, they go under. We're toast too. I hope that they don't. And as long as they don't, is your money safe? Well, I guess. Is it worth anything? That's the problem. Will it buy anything? That's the problem. Patriot Radio News Hour. I know, right? It's Friday. Come on, Double. Give us a break. 800-951-0592. I want to read to you. You know, yesterday or the other day, I was telling you how the Fed is. Oh, we're gonna self-reflect for the first time in 107 years, and try to figure out if what we've been doing is actually helping Americans. We already know nope. It's making it harder for us. And I say that, just look at the middle class. Is the middle class bigger or smaller? Percentage-wise, the middle class is the smallest it's been since they started tracking it. It's truth. And it's been shrinking now for what, 20 years? Ever since really the dot-com bubble. I mean, it's not a straight line down. But as the debt pile gets bigger, this is what happens. Well, here's something else that was really interesting that he said. We're focused on getting through year end. And I think he's talking about 2021, which would be September. We've been very focused on the issues that are right in front of us. And honestly, we're not planning anything or having any discussions about what we might do down the road. What? Excuse me? You know what? Now listen, I didn't say it. He said it. This was Jerome Powell. I'm not thinking down the road because there is no down the road. There is no down the road. Well, at least not for the dollar. So yes, is your money safe? I don't think the bank's going to close. How much money will you have left when it's over? And I know you like your stock accounts right now. Be ready. I mean, who the hell would say something like this? He responded about the CARES Act and what they're doing. Certainly, he said, we'd have the ability to do facilities under 13-3 in some cases with no backing. But we can't do any 13-3 facilities without the approval of the Treasury Secretary, who conveniently now is going to be Janet Yellen. So essentially what he's letting us know is as soon as Janet Yellen gets in, right, we're going to open up all these facilities. We're going to blow up our balance sheet. The dollar is on a spiral down and should be, right? Because, well, okay, we really can't pay our bills. And we're going to have to buy a whole bunch of stuff from these banks because the banks actually don't really have any money left because they've been forced. And again, I don't want to blame the banks necessarily. Well, actually, come on, they're at fault. But they've been forced to buy a lot of this debt. But let's face it, no one forced you to buy back all that stock that you were doing in 2016, 2017, 2018, and all the dividends and all that other stuff. Peace dollars, BU, brilliant uncirculated peace dollars, $6.30 a roll, half dollars at $2.10 a roll. 800-951-0592. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend.